guys, welcome back to the Go Reads This podcast. My name is Katie.
I'm Lexie.
And today we are going to be giving you all of the summer book recommendations. This is our recommendation episode of the season, so we are just going to throw nothing but book recs at you today. It's going to be great.
This is one of my favorite episodes to film every time.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love talking about the books I love.
The recommendations are so much fun, but first and foremost, I'm going to toss it over to Lexie for our scripture of the episode.
Let's do it. I am reading John 4:14, and it says, "But whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give them will become in them a spring of water welling up to eternal life." Which I just love because I feel like summer makes me think of water.
Yeah.
And the living water is the most important water.
I love that.
Yeah.
Carries us nicely into our question of the episode. So our question of the episode this episode is, what is your favorite summer reading location?
My favorite is the beach.
Okay.
I, however, don't get to read at the beach too much anymore because we don't live near the beach anymore.
So sad.
But I love listening to the waves and, like, burning to a crisp, and I just love it. Like, I can remember, like, when I look at specific books on my shelves, I'm like, I read that at the beach. Like, the first time I read The Selection, it was at the beach. Like, I know. And I think it's so cool. Like, the memories are just so good.
You can tell that you read The Selection at the beach.
Yeah.
So your copy of that book is so beat
only
up.
book on my shelf that's not pristine. It's not on my shelf anymore, so.
I think my favorite summer reading location is by the pool, but specifically when there's no one else there.
So valid.
I just want to, like, put in my earbuds and lay out on the lounger. I feel like I love the beach and I love reading at the beach, but I always get sand all over my book, and then it bothers me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't read on the floor on the beach. We have, like,
like
beach
chairs.
Yeah.
See, if I'm outside in the summer, I want to be tanning. I don't want to be, like, sitting in a chair in the shade. I want to be, like, tanning. And if I'm by the pool, I can lay in that lounger and tan, and I can read my book.
I would love to lay out and not worry about getting sun poisoning, but, like, I am known for putting sunscreen on and still getting blisters.
Yeah, that sucks. I'm really sorry.
I gotta protect my skin. I don't want, like, skin cancer someday, so I would love to do that. And I can for a little bit, but, like, when I, like, start seeing stars, I'm like, if I'm seeing stars, my skin is not having a great time. I gotta go.
You're seeing stars?
Yeah, I really think it mostly comes from, like, I forget to drink because I'm so engrossed in what I'm reading, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I've been
I haven't
sitting
had
in the sun
water.
for like 90 minutes, and it's 100 degrees out, and
oh no,
there's stars happening, so, like, something's gonna give.
That's scary. Okay, well. Anyway.
I still prefer to read at the beach.
Okay, valid. All right, well, we're just going to go right into our book recommendations. So.
Do you want us to go every other?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to give your first summer book?
Mine. I'm so excited to recommend this because it is one of my most highly anticipated reads of this year, and it is Funny Story by Emily Henry. I read it. I loved it, and it takes place on a coastal state, South Carolina, I want to say, which I feel like gives summer vibes.
For sure.
I don't think this book actually takes place in the summer. It might. Yeah, I think it does. I think it takes place in August. But it's just, like, this book is all about the friends you make on the way, and I feel like that's such a summer mindset. I love it.
I love that so much. I feel like any one of Emily Henry's books could be a summer
for sure.
What would you give this for age?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing with any other of her books. It's 18 or older for sure. There are some explicit scenes in it. I will say there's a lot more tension than, like, sex in this book, but it feels the same as reading smut. It felt like that to me, at least. Okay. So just go in with that fair warning if you choose to read it, but I would say 18 or older.
Okay. All right. My first one is going to be a classic. This will be my only classic recommendation, so don't click off.
Keep watching.
Yeah. But yes, the classic I would recommend for the summer is A Room with a View by E.M. Forster. The reason I recommend this one is because it is a very fun romance, but also about the friends that you make along the way. It's also a group of friends, and they're on vacation. and it's kind of all you need to know.
Yeah.
It's also funny, which
I love.
we love.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love. I'm going to say that a lot anyway.
That you're going to read it? Or you want to read it?
I love.
Yeah.
I'm going to say I love a lot. Yeah. Specifically, yeah.
Yeah. It's fair.
Okay. Any other thoughts on that one?
No, just that honestly it's a pretty quick read for a classic.
Okay. What would age or?
Oh, any age if you can understand
classics
it.
are kind of like that.
They are adults, not like I wouldn't say, it's not a children's classic by any means. They are adults, but if you can understand it, you're good. But it is classic. So big if on the reading comprehension part.
That's so real. I'm like, how old am I? 23, and I'm just getting into classics because I could not understand them.
Yeah.
So don't feel bad if you
can't,
because I couldn't.
Even like I still, when I read classics, will like look things up and
yeah. Honestly, to get through Wuthering Heights, I watched a video on YouTube on what Wuthering Heights was about.
That's so real.
Because I couldn't keep up with everyone having the same dang name. It still irks me.
That's so real.
Anyway, all right. We good to keep going?
Yeah.
All right. My next one, I had to throw a fantasy in because
you're you.
I can't not. And I am going to go with An Ember in the Ashes by Tahir. I had literally zero expectations going into this book. It had been on my shelf for probably when it was first released. It's been on my shelf for a very long time. And I finally read it. And it was so surprisingly amazing.
Aww.
And the reason I'm saying it's for summer is because there's like a trial that takes place on a desert, which is hot, and the summer is hot.
True.
So that's just how I correlated it. But it is a very, very good fantasy. It is a lot of political intrigue, trials, not enemies to lovers, but kind of enemies to lovers. Age, I would say, like, it's completely clean. I don't even think there's a kissing scene. But if you like old enough to understand what's happening, kind of thing. So like high school to like or late middle school, depending on maturity.
Yeah, you say like PG-13.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
cool. Okay, my next recommendation is a mystery. It's The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. I don't know if I've recommended this book on this podcast. We were just having this conversation about whether I recommended it just to Lexie or if I've said this before, but either way, it is a very good, quick read if you want something that's not just like a romance, but that's short and quick. Like, honestly, would read it on a beach. It's very, very fun. It's very fast-paced. It's very interesting. There's a lot of, like, little twists and turns. And I would say age rating, PG-13 as well. There's no spice. There's not really romance. I mean, there's a little bit, kind of, but not active. Basically, the premise, the main character's husband goes missing. And so there's a romantic element of the fact that, like, it was her husband, but the bigger relationship it focuses on is her relationship with her stepdaughter. And it's good.
Good. I love that.
Would recommend. Yeah.
Okay. This next one, I'm going to recommend it, but take it with a grain of salt. It's The UnHoneymooners by Christina and Lauren. It's really funny.
It is really
definitely
funny.
Summer vibes. It is 18 or older.
For sure.
There's some, smut in it. Not a ton. I don't remember it.
Not a ton, honestly. It was
a
not
lot of like scenes, but the scenes that there are descriptive, and personally, I felt they were kind of icky.
But very skippable.
Yes. Take that out, and I laughed out loud reading this book.
I read this book on a beach. Legit.
Oh, I love that. It's so funny.
It is really, really funny. I think I read it in like half a day, too.
Oh my gosh,
so
yeah,
quick.
me too, I think. It's like, there are very little books, like, I'll say, like, a book is funny, and, like, that's just me, like, oh, haha, like, that's funny. No, I was audibly laughing with this book.
The characters are so funny.
They're so dumb.
Yeah.
But, like, it's so funny, and, like, the circumstance that, like, gets them to the plot is So tragic, but so funny.
Yeah, I love that.
I
no,
love
it's a
this
great book.
I think I gave it like 4 stars, but again, I will just say proceed
It's
with
Christina Lauren, so
yeah, very same writing style to Emily Henry.
And if you've read Love in Other Words, I felt like this was less than that.
I would agree, yeah, because they're not together for a
that
lot.
long. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good. I would recommend it, but 18 or older.
Yeah.
Just thinking about one specific scene is making me laugh.
I love that. My next recommendation is The Off Limits Rule by Sarah Adams. This is, I would say 16 and up probably. It's closed door, but there's definitely a lot of tension, and they are adults. I don't think you would enjoy it if you're like a kid anyway, because it's talking about adults that like have kids even. So the main character is a mom, and she's like a single mom in her 30s. It's definitely not my favorite of the books I've read by Sarah Adams, but I did still really enjoy it. It was a fun, quick rom-com. Definitely would be a great beach read.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, this next one is not going to come to a great surprise to anyone. I had to put it on here because I personally read these books every single year. So I'm recommending Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins, and specifically this one because, like, obviously, like, there's a beach on it. So, read The Hunger Games.
Read The Hunger Games first.
I can't not recommend it in the summer because I literally read this series in June every single year. It is my all-time favorite series.
I think it's so wild that the summer is the time that you choose to read The Hunger Games.
It's because of Catching Fire. That's my favorite one.
Okay.
And, like, the arena is on the sand and there's water. And
it's true. That is true. You're not wrong.
Every June. No fail.
Okay.
For, like, the last 4 or 5 years, I think.
Incredible.
So I had to put it in here.
My next rec is another mystery thriller, and it is First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. This was also a very quick read, very fascinating, lots of twists and turns, very interesting. There is a romance that's like a bigger part of the plot. I don't recall there being smut. There may have been some closed door and or tension, but I don't recall it being spicy. So I would say probably 16 and older for this one still. There was definitely language, but the main character, without giving too much, is a master of disguise, if you will.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so it's just a very fascinating, fast-paced, fun, like, thriller kind of read, and it takes place in the South, which is what gives me the summer vibes, because it's, like, hot and, you know.
No, that's so real.
Yeah.
I love.
All right.
Okay, my last one is The Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd Jones. I will say I haven't read this book in a long time. It's been like maybe almost 2 years. Mm-hmm. It is YA, like PG-13, no spice, no language, so totally clean and safe. But in this book, we're following a character who basically is like betrayed by someone she trusts and is told, like, in order to save her world or her town, she has to break a wall, like, that is like holding a dam.
Oh.
And she does it. And it's all magically. Like, she breaks it magically. It's fantasy. So she breaks it, and, like, actually, because she broke it, it's going to flood the whole land. Whoa. So it's very, like, heist vibes. Like, she has to, like, find something to reverse what she did. And it takes place, it's warm when whatever it is happening, and she's breaking, like, an ocean dam. So cool. Summer vibes. But, yeah, I remember it being really good. I believe it is like a Welsh mythology retelling. And I personally just loved the heist vibes of it. It was so good. And like I said, it is like PG-13, absolutely clean and safe. So it was a really fun read, I remember. I kind of want to reread it.
Fun.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, my last read, I will say, this is probably the most out-of-pocket book I've ever read. It is so random and bizarre. But so hysterically funny. It's called The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window and Disappeared. And it is by Jonasson.
That's quite the name. I kind of loved it.
That's literally what happens. It is a 100-year-old man, and he is basically like, I'm about to die, and I'm in a freaking retirement home. I need to get out of here and, like, experience some life. And so he climbs out the window and goes on this adventure and ends up definitely breaking some laws.
Ooh.
Meeting some very interesting people. There's so much that happens in this book that is just so out of pocket. It is, I have no other words for it other than that it is very bizarre, and it is very funny, and you have to be willing to just accept that it doesn't make any sense, that the things that are happening would actually be happening.
Okay.
Because it's so ridiculous.
That's okay.
But it's so funny.
I love that.
Yeah. Age, I would say there's language, but there's not really a romance in it. There's like some side characters, and there's like a little bit of a romance with some of the side characters. Definitely not the point of the book at all. I think it's classified as humor. There's definitely some like icky humor in it.
Oh, okay.
Like not like icky like toilet humor. Like it's just like it's just bizarre.
That's so funny.
Yeah. But yeah, it's probably PG-13,
Okay.
but there's definitely some language, so
Is there any particular reason why you think that's a summer rec, or you just threw it in there?
I think because it feels it is adventurous.
Okay.
And that feels like summery to me.
Yeah, I love.
But yeah, I listened to it, and the guy who narrates it has an accent, and which made it just so much funnier. It was a trip of a read.
I love that. That sounds so interesting.
It actually is. I would recommend it. Like,
Is it quick? It sounds like it'd be a quick read.
I remember
Maybe
it
not.
being quick for me. I don't know how many pages it was because I listened to it.
Oh, yeah.
So,
what's it called?
oh, the Kindle edition is 396 pages.
Oh. That's pretty hefty.
A lot happens in this book.
That's so funny.
It's also it's like mystery-ish.
I'm so intrigued.
If you're not, I'd be surprised. If you're not intrigued,
I'm
because
so
there's
intrigued.
So it's just here. Let me see if I can. After a long and eventful life, Alan Carlson ends up in a nursing home, believing it to be his last stop. The only problem is that he's still in good health. A big celebration is in the works for his 100th birthday, but Alan really isn't interested, and he'd like a bit more control over his alcohol consumption. So he decides to escape. He climbs out the window in his slippers and embarks on a hilarious and entirely unexpected journey. It would be the adventure of a lifetime for anyone else, but Alan has a larger-than-life backstory. He has not only witnessed some of the most important events of the 20th century, but actually played a key role in them. Quirky and utterly unique, the 100-year-old man who climbed out the window and disappeared has charmed readers across the world.
I am so intrigued.
And that is the other element that I really liked about it, is there is some like historical fiction where basically this guy, every event you could think of that's happened in the last 100 years, like they have placed him into the story.
Oh, that's gold.
It's really, really funny.
That's so funny. Wow, I might go. I needed a new book to listen to on Audible.
I would recommend it. It's really funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love.
Anyway, those are my summer recommendations.
Those are good.
Ending with a bang.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of that book.
No,
Not on TikTok.
Don't even know how I found it, to be honest with you.
It's so funny because just based on that description, it's not something I'd be like, I think Katie would like this.
Yeah.
Like, if I was about you a book and I read that, I'd be like, oh, no.
Yeah,
But
I
you liked
didn't
it.
know I would like it. But I was like, this sounds bizarre, and I need to laugh, so
All right.
we'll have a laugh.
It worked.
It worked.
Love.
It was funny.
Okay.
All right.
You have anything
Well,
else?
I think that's it. Do you have any other final closing thoughts?
No. If you're near a beach, go read near it for us
Please.
who are not near an ocean beach.
Please and thank you. And have HAGS.
Wow. The nostalgia that just brought.
Sorry.
Wow.
I was going to say have a great summer, and then I was like, oh, well,
HAGS.
HAGS.
The amount of times I have that written in my
Love
my
Katie.
yearbooks. That's so funny. I should put that on the thumbnail.
All right, guys. Thank
Anywho.
you so much for tuning in to today's episode of the Go Read Sis podcast. If you liked it, please give us a like and a rating. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on social media at goread.sis. And tune in next Tuesday for another episode of the Go Read podcast. Bye.